Have you ever asked ChatGPT to write something, generate an image, or explain a homework problem? It feels simple. You type a sentence, wait for a second, and the answer appears. But behind the answer, there is a huge physical system. Data centers filled with servers, chips, cooling systems, and backup power. Welcome back to Microlens, where we look at big economic questions through a smaller, clearer lens. Today's question is AI making your electricity bill more expensive? When people talk about AI, they usually imagine software, algorithms, and apps. But AI is not just floating in the cloud, it needs electricity and it needs a lot of it. According to the US Department of Energy and Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, data centers use about 4.4% of total US electricity in 2023, and that share could rise to 6.7 to 12% by 2028. The International Energy Agency also projects that a global data center electricity demand could more than double to around 945 terawatt hours by 2030, with AI as a major driver. So AI is not only a technology story, it is also an energy story. And once energy is evolved, it becomes an economic story. The reason this matters is that electricity is not priced like a private laptop charger. When demand rises sharply, utilities may need to build new transmission lines, upgrade substations, secure more generation capacity, or keep older power plants running longer. Those costs often enter the utility system before they reach any one household. So even if you never use an AI chatbot, you may still live on the same grid that needs to expand for AI. That is why the debate is not just about how much electricity one prompt uses, it is about who pays for the grid that makes millions of prompts possible. Here's the real issue. When a big tech company builds a new data center, it does not simply plug into the wall like a phone charger. It may require new power lines, substations, grid upgrades, cooling systems, and sometimes new power generation. These upgrades can cost billions of dollars, which raises a very human question. Who pays for them? Tech companies may receive the profits from AI, but ordinary households could share some of the costs through higher electricity bills or pressure on local infrastructure. Here is the real issue. When a big tech company builds a new data center, it does not simply plug into the wall like a phone charger. It may require new power lines, substations, grid upgrades, cooling systems, and sometimes new power generation. These upgrades can cost billions of dollars, which raises a very human question. Who pays for them? Tech companies may receive the profits from AI, but ordinary households could share some of the costs through higher electricity bills or pressure on local infrastructure. This is already becoming a local political issue. In May, the governor recently vetoed a bill that will have frozen approvals for large new data centers using more than 20 megawatts of power until 2027. Supporters of the pause worry about electricity rates and environmental impact, where opponents pointed to a major $550 million project expected to bring construction jobs and permanent employment to a town hurt by a paper mill closure. That conflict shows why this debate is hard. Data centers are not simply good or bad. They can bring jobs, tax revenue, and investment, but they can also bring higher energy demand, water use, land use, noise, and pressure on local infrastructure. To be fair, data centers are not all bad. They can bring jobs, tax revenue, construction, investment, and the infrastructure needed for America to lead in AI. AI itself could help doctors, students, engineers, businesses, and researchers, but the trade-off is real. For a tech company, electricity is part of an investment strategy. For a family, a higher electricity bill is groceries, air conditioning in the summer, or one more payment at the end of this month. This is why this should not be framed as AI versus people. The better question is how do you design the rules around AI growth? Should tech companies pay more directly for grid upgrades? Should data centers be required to use cleaner power or build in places where the grid can handle them? Should local communities get more transparency before projects are approved? These are not anti-technology questions. They are economic questions about cost, benefit, and fairness. So maybe the real question is not whether AI can become more powerful, it clearly can. The deeper question is whether we can build an AI economy that is not only powerful, but also fair. Fair to the companies that invest, fair to the communities that host the infrastructure, fair to the families who may end up paying the bill, and fair to the environment that supports all of it. Next time you ask AI a question, remember, somewhere a server turns on, electricity is being produced, and someone may be paying for it. This is Michael Lens, Small Lens, Big Economy. See you in the next one.